There's a specific moment I want you to picture. Someone gets a raise, maybe a new job, a better title, a little more room in the bank account. For about 2 weeks, they feel it, that lift, that sense of finally some breathing room. Then, without really deciding to, they upgrade the car, move into a slightly nicer apartment, start eating out more because now they can. A year later, they're earning more than they've ever earned in their life. And somehow, they feel exactly as tight as before. If that sounds familiar, I want you to know something right away. This isn't a willpower problem. Here's what nobody really explains to you growing up. We're taught to think of financial struggle as something that ends. You get the job, you get the raise, and then you've made it. But for most people, that moment never quite arrives. Not because they didn't earn enough, but because their spending grew at almost exactly the same pace as their income. And this isn't a character flaw. It's not that you're bad with money. The moment we earn more, we unconsciously start spending in a way that matches what we believe someone at our new income level should have. Not what we need, just what looks right. This is the middle class habit. Spending money to look like you've arrived instead of spending it to actually get somewhere. It's the newer car financed for years, when the old one still ran fine. The bigger apartment taken the moment it's affordable, instead of a year later when savings could absorb it comfortably. The vacations that quietly match what everyone else is posting. None of these choices look reckless on their own. That's what makes the pattern so easy to miss. There's no single decision you can point to and say, that's the mistake. It's death by 1,000 reasonable choices. And underneath it is a simple truth. Wealth isn't built by income. It's built by the gap between income and spending. This habit quietly closes that gap every time it opens. Where does it come from? I don't think it's greed. I think it's safety. For a lot of people, money is tied to identity. Proof that you're not the person who had less, who felt behind. So spending becomes a kind of repair. The problem is that relief never lasts. We adapt to new comforts fast, and then we need the next thing just to feel the same lift again. The goalpost doesn't move once. It keeps moving. Now picture two people earning the same income over 10 years. One lets spending rise with every raise. The other keeps spending relatively flat and redirects the difference into savings and investments. In year 1, you can barely tell them apart. By year 10, the second person has something the first doesn't, because money that's been growing quietly compounds on itself year after year, not from a secret trick, just from protecting a gap long enough for time to do the rest. Here's the shift that actually changes things. At some point, you stop asking, what does someone at my income level have? And start asking, what do I actually want my life to look like in 5 years? And what does that require right now? That one change in the question changes almost everything downstream of it. Spending stops being a performance and becomes a tool. This doesn't require an extreme life. No cutting everything out. No living like a monk. It just means noticing the moment a raise or bonus creates room, and pausing before that room automatically fills up. Asking before a purchase whether you actually want the thing, or just what it signals about you. If you recognize yourself in any of this, you're not behind. Almost everyone in the middle class is playing some version of this game because nobody ever sits you down and tells you the finish line moves. You don't need a dramatic overhaul. You just need to notice the moments where the room appears and choose, on purpose, what happens next. That's really the whole shift. Not a formula, just a steadier relationship with money than the one most of us were handed. Write and comment, what do you get the most from the conversation? Or subscribe to our YouTube channel for new videos for interesting fact, logical, financial, personal views.